Ryan Gibson Podcast. Ryan Gibson Podcast. What up? 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 I'm chilling. What's up, y'all? What it do? What is up, people? I feel like I'm in the open. Turn me up a little bit on that shit. Had to turn me up. Steffon Diggs, he was found not guilty. Shout out to Steffon Diggs. I'm happy that he beat these allegations because it's bullshit. I'm happy he beat these allegations because a lot of times when relationships, when situationships, when things don't work out, the woman, unstable, emotional woman, likes to try to seek revenge in a manner of trying to ruin a man's life, ruin his character, ruin his financial income, try to ruin him in general. So shout out to Steffon Diggs. I don't know I can't say whether her accusations, if it were true or not, but he was found not guilty, and shout out to him for that. And so the reason I say I don't know if it's true or not, I mean, I don't care. It's not me. I'm not in that situation. I'm neither of the parties. But niggas been beating bitches' asses since the beginning of time. And not to make it seem like it's funny, but there's broke men and women, and they are accepting of it. There's rich men hitting women, and they're accepting of it. But the thing is, the situation, they don't seek any type of law enforcement involvement because they're continuing a relationship. I was speaking to my friend Nikki. Shout out to Nikki, and she said initially she felt like she wasn't sure if he were guilty of it because she said she was not sure if he was guilty or not because the Patriots, they released Steffon Diggs. And I'm like, that's not an indication of him being guilty or not. It's just that from accusations, as this one, continue to put a black man at a disadvantage when the system is literally set up for black men to not be successful. Now, Steffon Diggs is not the receiver he's been back in the day because as you get older in the NFL, some people say it stands for not for long. Although it's the National Football League, they say it stands for not for long. So, maybe if he were in his younger days, maybe a team will hold on a little bit longer. Maybe if he was still with the Buffalo Bills, although he did not start on the Buffalo Bills, maybe, you know what I mean? But a lot of these situations, a black man is already at a disadvantage in life, and these women, they just make it harder. Going a little bit different into what I was going to talk about, the system is literally set up for black people to not be successful, for black men to not be successful. And how do you target the African American, the black race, the black population? You target the men because we are the ones that keep it up. Women, they are doing what they're doing, but if you target the men, if there aren't black fathers in the lives of their children, if there aren't black men in the lives of the community and with their wives or women, whatever it may be, women are much more vulnerable. So when a lot of people like to say, black women protect them at all costs, you have to understand that the system is set up for the black male, the black man, the black men to fail. So when you take that out of the equation, everything else becomes easy. The black woman is no longer as strong. She may verbalize that she's a strong black woman, but you're way easier to target. You're way easier to neutralize. You're way easier to get out of the situation because you don't have the black man there anymore to protect and provide. So I hate that situations come up like this when a woman is unhappy about how things came about, therefore she has to seek law enforcement, legal issues to try to get back at the man. Watching the case, I was talking to my friend, she said she can't even watch it because it's so cringe. I watched some of it. I couldn't watch the entire thing because that shit is just too long. However, as I was watching it, it's clear that she is fabricating things. She was nervous, understandably so. She's on television live at times, and being in a courtroom. So I understand her nervousness. However, some along with the nervousness were because there were lies. Now, listening to her testimony, listening to her testify on the stand, it's clear that she was upset that Steffon Diggs he disinvited her somewhere. He was basically cutting her off because she was talking shit. She did not, for lack of a better term, know her place because she was talking about something that Steffon Diggs wasn't too happy about it. So she was getting cut off because even after the said incident, she gave him a birthday card. She was still fucking with him, right? But it's when she realized that lifestyle that he was providing for her, to her, was no longer going to continue. So now it's, how do I get back at him? How can I make him hurt? How can I do him wrong? And I wish women, especially black women, doing this to black men, but women in general, to be honest, I wish you guys would stop this shit. Because if a man doesn't want you, or if he's going to live his life and you don't accept his life, let it go. Let it go. Because especially if you're a woman of God, because that is not of God. Those acts are not of God. But if you're so upset, you therefore then want to tarnish his name, discredit his character, dare I say, attempt to ruin his life. Get over it. I say this from experience. I say this from observation. My baby mama, very jealous herpes ass. Because we're not together anymore, I had to take her to court to have my kids with me. And she's fighting me in every which way because she doesn't want me to have them. She doesn't want me to be with them. And better yet, she just wants child support. She doesn't really want to be with my children. She just wants child support. And the lies upon lies that this woman displayed, and we're just nurses, but the lies upon lies is just evident that women are damaged and they can't get over it. Some women, not all. But for you to try to tarnish a man's name and character because you guys are no longer together, that's insane. That's insane. And I feel like women don't understand what they're doing. They think that they're doing it and they're getting revenge, which, we are in our comfortable mindset. We're not stressing over these hoes, but you don't realize that you're destroying your protection. You don't realize that if you actually were a queen, you are destroying the king. Therefore, you have no defenses. And therefore, you will be sought out after in terms of being conquered. And I don't mean conquered in terms of someone making a woman out of you. I mean conquered in someone taking your money and doing whatever the fuck they want to do with you because you're vulnerable. But women don't understand that. Society literally, let's take it back. Today's society is of society because society is society, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, there have been changes in this day and age. There's things that's acceptable now that weren't acceptable before, but the whole idea of society is the same, meaning it's society. So the establishment of society in America were that black people were not people. They were not considered people. They were considered items. They were considered property. So when we got some type of independence, when we got some type of, yes, we are people now, how do we keep them from being people? Let's rewind it back even further. When they came and took us from our home country of Africa, how is it easy to destroy a family and not make them stay together? You take out the male, you take out the men, and society is literally set on black people not elevating. That's another conversation for another day, but shout out to Steffon Diggs. I'm happy that he beat these allegations. She can't do it again because of double jeopardy. So, she can't, at least she can't come for him for that same exact thing. Shout out to him for that, because I as a black man who experienced something with my baby mama lying on me about certain things and then dropping it later when she realized she couldn't continue with that shit, although she was the culprit. It's just sad that in this day's society, when black people were accused of false crimes of things back in the day by people of different races, and then nowadays we are accusing each other of nonsense. It's just fucked up. I had a conversation with my friend Nikki, and I was telling her about how the former coach of the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka, how they fired him because he had an affair with another staff on the team, and that staff member were married as was he. I said people's personal life should not have an effect on their job, and I stand by it. Especially when it's a black man who was fired, and there's many situations and cases when it's a person of another nationality isn't fired because of those things, whether it comes to fruition or not. Because what people do in their personal lives, it's their fucking personal lives. But shout out to Steffon Diggs. You know, regardless of how many women he has and how many women he's with, I don't think that should be have any kind of position on his job, on his employment. I don't think that should have any kind of reins on his job title, on his NFL career. I just think it's crazy. That someone can accuse of bullshit and mess someone up in that manner. So shout out to Steffon Diggs. Shout out to all men who go through nonsense. Shout out to all fathers who go through nonsense, because it's a fight. It's a fight when something as simple as you wanting to be a good father and be in your children's lives and love your children, that a bitter baby mama want to keep you from your children because they can't get over you, because they know that they lost something really good, because they know that they may have herpes, they may have an attitude problem, they may have mental instability that no one else wants to accept. So then they make it hard for you because you accepted them with all their flaws and all. If I'd known when I first got with said person, I would have never stayed. Who stays with herpes? But they realize that they're not going to find anyone in that manner, and then they're just too fucking bitter. So they try to make your life hard. Shout out to Steffon Diggs for beating the charges, for beating the accusations, for beating this nonsense. This heinous accusation. Shout out to Steffon Diggs. Shout out to him, because he shouldn't even have been on trial for that shit. He shouldn't even have to have wasted his time to be in that courtroom. So it's shitty though, because a lot of men who are innocent, they don't beat some of these charges. A lot of men who are innocent, they don't recover from this character assassination. So unfortunately. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about that. I was talking to my friend about it, and you know, if he were really of a man who really was beating her or hitting her, shit would be different. I know a lot of shorties, I know a lot of women with dudes. Some dudes are broke as shit. Some dudes have money, and they way okay with them, with their abuses. So, and it's not my thing whether to say it actually occurred or not. I really don't give a fuck, to be honest, but that's their business. And, you know, when she realized the lifestyle that she previously had was going to be cut off, then she had a problem. Then she wanted to seek legal action. So, you know, that's that. That is that. That is that, broski.
With all that being said, I still don't trust the Knicks.
What?
I don't trust the Knicks.
What do you mean you don't trust?
I'll deal with you in a minute. Let me talk to Big Perk. Big Perk, I've seen this movie before. I'm not falling for the banana and tail fight.
Yo, shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Cameron. Yo, Cameron is killing the game. He's killing the sports game. Cameron is on ESPN. First Take. Cameron was on First Take. Yeah, I said this before when Cameron interviewed J. Cole. I said this watching It Is What It Is. Cameron is doing his shit. Interviewing skills are up there. His sports takes are up there. And you know what? Here's the thing about Cameron. This is why Cameron's stuff is intriguing. It's because it's genuine. It's because it's unapologetic, right? He's being real. And he's from the street, so he's just being who he is. He's not playing this politically correct game. He's just who he is. That's why his shit, pause. That's why his things like that are hitting like that, bro. Because it's interesting and he's being real with it. He said on First Take that if LeBron won another chip, it'd be 2 more chips because it's a chip from his son. And ain't that the fucking truth? When your children do well, you do well. When your children succeed, you succeed. So yes, Cameron's take is absolutely spot on. It's spot on. Magic Johnson has a son that's touring, could have been balling. He's doing another balling, whatever. To each his own. Not judging anybody, right? But he can't say that. So if LeBron James were to win a chip, I have to agree with Cameron. That's 2 more chips because his son is there already. So I gotta agree with that. And Cameron Sports Takes, that should be spot on, bro. He's taking the game. I foresee in the next couple of years, Cameron's gonna. I don't think he even needs to have a seat on ESPN along anyone. Yo, ESPN, y'all need to give Cameron his own fucking show. He don't need to be a guest on First Take. Cameron could have his own show on First Take. Why not? Why not? I think he can. Pat McAfee has his show on ESPN.
Your thing will be here at 2:54.
All right, thank you. About time. Pat McAfee has a show on ESPN. Yes, Pat McAfee was a former NFL player. I think he was a punter, right? Pat McAfee was a kicker. So Pat McAfee has his show on ESPN. Pat McAfee was a punter. He was a place kicker in the NFL. I'd rather hear Cameron's take as it pertains to sports over Pat McAfee. Like it or not, I'd rather hear Cameron's take on sports over Pat McAfee. ESPN, give Cameron his own show. And still do it is what it is with Mace on YouTube. Because Cameron is taking the game. And I'm saying it right here, right now. It is May 6th. ESPN, give Cameron his show. And then Cameron, bring me on and interview me, Cameron. First person saying it, but I may not be the first person thinking it. What Cameron has done, and I said this before, his transition from what he did in the music game, what he did in the rap game, and businesses that he also got, because he had businesses prior, and what he's doing in the podcasting, in the sports world. You have to give a nod, you have to give an applause, you have to give it his credit. And I'm saying this. There's a lot of people sports take who you much rather hear over current sports takers. Other people who are on TV now talking about sports. I'd rather watch Cameron all the time over Pat McAfee. And no slack to Mace, because Mace, when I was young, Mace was my favorite rapper, bro. Mace was my favorite rapper, but it is what it is. Cameron carries the show. We all know that. Everybody have their thing. I like Mace. Cool. But Cameron carries, it's tailored around Cameron. Maybe Cameron has that personality. Shout out to both of them. Shout out to Mace and Cameron. But I much rather hear Cameron talking about sports than other people. And not a shot to Pat McAfee. I'm just giving an example. I do think that Cameron should have his own show on ESPN. I don't think Cameron needs to just be a cameo on Sports Take or on First Take, excuse me. I don't think so. I think how much fans that will come to First Take. And yes, First Take is doing their thing, but I think Cameron will bring a lot of fans. So just sign him to his own show. And then let them collab. Because Stephen A. Smith was on Get Up. He's on Get Up here and there. Give Cameron his show. If ESPN really want to, give Cameron his show, because Cameron is doing his thing. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to May. Shout out to Stat Baby Treasure Wilson. I cannot disregard her at all. At all. But yeah, shout out to Cameron. He's doing his thing. Could you imagine, sports people, the Knicks make it to the conference finals and then the Knicks make it to the finals? Let's see. Because the Knicks demolished the 76ers the other night. I think they're playing tonight. The Knicks demolished them, and I can see the Knicks getting past them. And let's just see how it's going to go. But, us Knicks fans, us New Yorkers, we want it all. We see it all. So we really see what happens from there. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to the sports. The Lakers lost. I see the Lakers putting up a fight, but I think OKC is going to take this. They're going to take this round. If Luka were healthy, if Luka Doncic was healthy, that's another conversation for another day, because I think the Lakers probably would take the whole series. It'll be a fight OKC, they nice. It's not like they're not nice, but I think Luka, with how nice Luka is, I think that the Lakers will be able to take the series, honestly, in all honesty. So, that's it on the Ryan Gibson podcast, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and follow, guys. R&B Gang, R&B Talk, Ryan Gibson podcast, Beast Kitchen, guys. I have a lot more content coming out, guys. Stay tuned. I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for watching Ryan Gibson podcast. I'm out of here.
Turn me up, turn me up. Welcome to my podcast. What's the topic? What's the word? Subscribe and broadcast. Hottest trends, top talk, discussion, bussin' all that. Hit the like, we on the mic. Hey, let's talk that.